Welcome to this channel again. Today we shall make our flash bootable in preparation to install operating system in our computer. There are many ways you can install operating system in your computer. You can use a CD or you can use a flash, as long as it's made bootable to support the operating system you're going to use. Now, first things first. For us to have this installation done, we're going to need a flash, at least a minimum of around 8 GB for most operating system versions that we're going to install. We shall also need an ISO file. In this case, we're talking about the operating system that you're going to install. It may either be Windows, it may either be Linux, for as long as you want to install one in your computer. So we shall need a software, what we're calling in this case a tool, that we shall use to create the bootable media. So in this case, we shall use Rufus for our particular video that we are making today. You can also as well use Yumi, or you can use Power ISO, depending on what you're much comfortable with. But for this particular video, we're going to use Rufus. Okay. One thing to note is making a flash bootable is basically commonly done for as long as we desire to install operating system in our computers, maybe like Windows, Linux, or Mac OS, especially when a computer lacks a CD or a DVD drive, or when possibly we need a clean install in our computer. So we're preferring this flash because my particular computer doesn't support a CD drive, so I prefer to go to use a flash in this case. Now, along the way, we shall be encountering some terms which I desire to address here before we can proceed. One, there's something we call the partitioning schemes, which we shall see in the software we shall be using to make our flash bootable. Now, the partitioning schemes are basically different ways that we organize the partitions on our hard drive or on our SSD. We basically have two of them. We have the MBR and we have the GPT. The MBR basically stands for the master boot record, and the GPT stands for the guide partition table. Now, usually, these two partitioning schemes help us control how the computer reads and writes data on our disk, especially when we're going to do booting in our computer. So, it's vital for us to know how we're going to use them. Now, usually, how do you choose which to use in case you're going to make your flash bootable? One, if you're going to choose to use MBR, possibly if you're using a 5th generation machine and below. Why? Because for as long as you desire to have maximum compatibility, MBR is the best. For most machines that are 5th generation and below, they are not much compatible with using GPT. So you desire to use MBR first of all because you need maximum compatibility in your machine. So what I mean is, if you're using an older machine, it's much more compatible for you to use MBR. Number two, also use MBR in case we're installing older operating systems or older operating systems that desire the old BIOS in our PCs, such as maybe Windows XP, Windows 7, and Windows 8. They may require you to use MBR in that case. The challenge with MBR is that if it gets corrupted, the entire disk becomes unbootable. That's a major challenge that we have with using MBR. On the other hand, if you use GPT, we choose to use GPT if we're using machines that are 6th generation and above. Of course, these are much more, they were made in a way that they support the new UEFI based operating system. So in this case, if you want to install maybe Windows 10, Windows 11, Linux, Mac OS, and you're using a machine that is newer, it's much more better to use GPT. Another advantage of using GPT is that it's basically used for better security and reliability. It's much more secure as compared to using MBR. Okay. Now, there are also other terms we're going to encounter, which in this case we're calling NTFS. We have FAT and also have what we call XFAT. Basically, NTFS stands for the New Technology File System, and FAT is also another format or another file system that we use to organize and store data on our drives. So basically, We use NTFS. We choose to use NTFS or to use FAT, depending on this file size and partition size limits that we're going to use, and also depending on the compatibility we're going to use for our machines. NTFS is basically preferred for internal hard drives on our Windows systems, or if we're going to use large file support. I mean, if we need to, we're going to use large files which eventually are supported using NTFS. So we choose to use FAT in case we're going to use external drives such as the flash drives and so on. In that case, on the side here, I have some of the notes that you can be able to use to follow. So FAT is better and suitable for removable media drives like USBs, memory cards, especially when compatible with older systems in your machine. So with that said, we're going to have the thing applicable in real life. Now we'll go to our machine. I will go to where my operating systems are found. I have them right here, and then we're going to try to make our flash bootable with Ubuntu. So I will click on the software we are going to use. In this case, it's Rufus. By double-clicking on it, and there it opens up. So we'll look at the surfaces we're saying we're going to interact with. Now I will insert a flash here where it says device. All I have to do is insert a flash on my machine. You realize it has been detected. I have a 32 GB flash. It has been detected here, and so it tells us to choose the boot selection. In this case, we are told to choose the operating system we desire to make to install on our machine. So come here where it says select, and then choose the operating system, which is Ubuntu in this case. After selecting it, I open it. So when I open it, it gives me these other menus that we're going to use. Here it is telling us what partition scheme do you prefer to use. I'll prefer to use MBR because I'm using a 4th generation machine which is older, and of course for compatibility purposes my machine is comfortable using MBR. So when you choose MBR, it basically supports BIOS or UEFI. When you choose GPT, it supports only UEFI. So it means in this case I will choose to use MBR only. Here the volume label, you can choose to call it whichever name you desire. In this case I will call this basically Ubuntu OS. So the file system I desire to use, I will desire to use NTFS because it supports large volumes of size, and it's much secure to use it compared to using MBR. Now, having chosen NTFS, all you have to do is to click on Start, and eventually it will warn you that possibly you may lose everything that's available in your machine. So, but I'm okay with it because I prepared this flash for that. So I'll just say okay, and then I continue and say yes, and then it will tell me I'm going to delete all the files. I say yes, continue, and so the machine begins making my flash bootable. So this basically all one has to do in order to have his flash bootable. So in this case, this will run for some time, maybe 5 minutes, and this will be done. So as soon as it's complete on this side, you're good to go. This is all you need to do to make your flash bootable. Thank you for watching this video. Till then, I'm yours. Stay tuned as we shall prepare to see how we can install operating system in our computers. Thank you so much. Till then, thank you.